the backstory of Skibidi Toilet. It's much different than you think. What? Although many of you think that G-Toilet betrayed Astro Toilets in the past and was sent to Earth as a punishment. But if this is true, then tell me why UFO Toilet, the new Astro Commander, helped to destroy the anti-parasitic tank by distracting the Titan Cameraman in episode 55? Or what about the Glitch Toilet, which appeared in episode 29? Right after, in episode 30, scientists suddenly had the infection technology similar to the one Astros use. Astros were helping from the very beginning, starting in episode 5, continuing in episode 51, and ending in episode 60 when they betrayed G-Man because of his failures. And one of his failures was the failed plan to conquer Earth, of which he was the commander. For months, I've been diving deep into the series, uncovering hidden details that have been in front of us all along. Like, why are the first Astros on the Earth in toilet form and have no upgrades? How did the secret agent influence G-Toilet's fate? And how was the alliance formed? You will be able to respond to all of these questions and more after watching this video. So follow it through to the very end to avoid missing any of the most crucial details. But before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe because there are only 6 videos left until we hit 9. Can we reach the first 69 subscribers before the 9th one drops? In episode 74, we can see a billboard of the G-Toilet Astro Titan, and from this time, many people started to speculate that the G-Toilet was an Astro Toilet. This theory was supported by many connections between him and the Astros, and one of them are laser eyes, like only one species Astro Toilets, what was revealed to us in Season 23 or Episode 13. Also in the newest episodes, he also can turn invisible like Specialist Astro Toilet in episode 77. And in one of the interviews, Boom confirmed that G-Toilet knew a lot about the Astro Toilets. But everything has been confirmed when someone asked, "Hey Boom, was the giant flying Skibidi Toilet from episode 13 an Astro like the G-Man Toilet?" To which Boom responded simple, "Yes." And it wasn't only an officially confirmed theory that the G-Toilet was an Astro Toilet, but we also learned that the toilets that were flying on their own without any jetpacks were Astros. And if we would rewatch the series with more focus, which I did several times, we will notice that the Astros were fighting along with the Skibidi army without their upgrades. To episode 60, they appear in episodes 5, 51, or even 59. Also from the secret scene from season 25, we learned that G-Toilet and Juggernaut were like brothers before they turned into enemies. And before the events from series even started, they conquered many planets together. What Boom also confirmed. We can also notice that Juggernaut and his babies are dogs, which is the complete opposite of G-Toilet. So why do they both belong to the Astro race if they look completely different? It's simple. From our previous investigation, we know that Astros already took over many planets, and if we look again at the G-Toilet Astro billboard from episode 74, we can also notice that his core is exactly the same like the infected Titan TV man, aka Watchman of Doomcore. Also, G-Toilet has blood on his head, what can mean that he became an Astro against his will, and we can assume that the Astro Toilets are not invading other planets just to destroy them, but to infect the soldiers and make them fight along in their army. So the Astro Juggernaut and G-Toilet were from the other planets, but they share the same fate. Both of them were invaded by Astro and became those soldiers. However, both of them stood out, Juggernaut by his force, but unfortunately he became just a pawn for Astro, as we learned in the conversation between him and G-Toilet in season 25, who, like the Astro Detainer and the Juggernaut were referring to him, was the commander. But this role didn't just bring him benefits, it also caused problems. He wasn't the only one competing for this position. The UFO Toilet was also fighting for the same role. That's why he is now the Astro Commander in season 25, and he was so furious when Juggernaut referred to G-Toilet as commander. This rivalry was confirmed in a Stake interview, where Boom stated that G-Toilet and UFO Toilet are enemies, and they hate each other with a passion. However, G-Toilet was the one who was chosen as a commander to the new Astro operation, the invasion of planet Earth. It stood out from the UFO Toilet, not only with being good with strategic thinking, but also always having a plan, what Boom confirmed in the interview. And this time, his ability to think strategically also proved to be reliable, because before the Astros attacked the Earth, they were making careful observations from space, communicating with themselves, and coming up with a plan. because Astro Toilets also always have a plan. What Boom also revealed on Interweave, with Iron Cameraman responding. Astros take time to analyze the situation. They don't know how strong the alliance is and where is it hiding. They have plan though, and UFO Toilet, who was hiding in episode 68, was exactly doing it. He was collecting information along with Astro Detainer, communicating with him and coming up with a plan. Exactly like Astro Toilets before they invaded Earth, but with one small difference. G-Toilet was then in the role of commander and not UFO Toilet, and during the investigations they realized something crucial. Earth has a lot of valuable resources that can be used to improve already advanced astro technology. For example, TV men were able to recreate astro claws using only resources found on Earth, as we can see in episode 77. Even though the original technology came from space, Astros also realized something crucial. Every human uses a toilet. That's why by taking a toilet form, they could infect the entire population with minimal effort. Boom also confirmed that the Skibidi Toilets can evolve only into something better. And this better thing is obviously an Astro. Because, as we discovered earlier, Astros are much older and stronger in terms of technology and strength than regular Skibidi Toilets, and they are taking over planets not to destroy them, but to enlarge their army. This time they wanted to infect the entire population on Earth to evolve them to Astro. They are capable of changing or building the form of their body from the bottom of their heads, which might explain why, in episode 77, after an Astro Toilet's head gets cut off, a parasite emerges from underneath it, or why Duchess gets a full body that quickly. However, the Astro Toilet's plan was completely different at the beginning of the series. At the Beginning, as we can notice, all infected toilets were passive and didn't attack anyone. They were trying to infect everyone with the Skibidi song. They weren't destroying Earth back then because they wanted to lose as few valuable resources as possible. But as we know now, something didn't go according to plan, forcing them to change it. And what really changed the situation was the hacked communication. In episode 76, we learned from the conversation between the Duchess and the UFO Toilet that someone was interfering with their communication, so we can assume they were hacked. But who hacked them and when? It's simple. The secret agent did it back when the Astro Toilets were investigating Earth, even before their first attack. We know he's capable of hacking, as seen in episode 67, when his face suddenly appeared on our screen, overriding our POV. He also interfered in episode 70, causing a transmission error with Plunderman, and almost every time with the lucky cameraman after episode 65. On top of that, he knew about the Astro invasion long before episode 74, leaving hints as early as in episode 70 warning us before a bigger threat, or in episode 55, where we saw a billboard ominously stating they will come, or even earlier, because in episode 52, he showed a billboard with text, "Your real enemy is," and we can't see the rest of it. This shows that the secret agent had insight into the Astros' plans well before the invasion actually began. But why didn't he tamper with their communication sooner? The answer is simple. He didn't want to reveal himself too early. By secretly intercepting Astro communications, he could stay one step ahead without drawing attention. And with the knowledge he gained, he changed the course of the war. How? He created cameramans. Speakermans and TV men were probably created later, because they joined later in the series and have more advanced natural abilities. Also in the flashbacks of Camera Woman, in episode 73, we got a hint that the cameramen were humans. It was confirmed by Boom on the interview. We know that the agents are not affected by the Skibidi song, unlike humans. So before Astro's attack secret agent secretly created the Alliance, because he was an administrator of Alpha Hills, as we know from Booster in episode 70. Thanks to that, Toilets and Astros were trying to infect cameramen by singing the Skibidi song, but they didn't know that they can't. That ruined the first Astro Toilet's plan, because if they couldn't infect everyone because of cameramen, they needed to fight back. And because of this, they evolved too early. They started to get weapons and evolved from normal toilets with rotten brains into military toilets, or even mutants. Because of this, most of them were no longer suitable for conversion to Astro. That contributed to the later failures of G-Toilet, as him being labeled a traitor, and the change of commander to UFO Toilet. But not everything on the Alliance's side went as smoothly as it seems. Alpha Hills Labs is only only a small part of the larger Alpha Hills area. The first people to start transforming into cameramen were scientists working within the Alpha Hills territory. After the cameramen were created, research began on how to create other races, like the speakermen. Unfortunately, not all people from the Alpha Hills region had enough time to transform into one of the Alliance races. Many were infected, such as the mutants from G Squad, who were soldiers stationed at Alpha Hills. This is confirmed in episode 77, when one of them drops an old photo of themselves before the infection. Kleiner, who worked at Alpha Hills Labs, suffered the same fate as seen on the poster from episode 70. Those who managed to avoid the infection had to hide to survive, like the survivors seen in episode 73, or recently infected people in episode 27. The toilets, with the help of the infection, eventually took control of Alpha Hills and all the technology within it. This is further revealed by the secret agent in season 25 when he says,
"Their leaders are hiding inside my facility. They stole our technologies. I'm angry!"
Do you think that when G-Toilet covered Titan Speakerman from being uninfected, he freed himself from the Astro infection? Now we know the backstory, but what about the future? Will be the new race? What is G-Toilet planning? Click on the video on screen to find all hidden hints about the future plot. It's only 6 minutes long.